Hey beauties, welcome to Vlogmas day, I don't know, 3 maybe 4, something like that. We're gonna do makeup today. I'm starting with the Lancome Teint Idole in the shade 455 Warm, or W. It's the replacement for the shade that I used to wear all the time, which was 500 Sue W or Suede W, and this is the new color. I will be honest, I'm not really a fan of this particular shade as much as I was of my old shade, because it just seems like it's not quite as much of a match. It has a little bit more of a warm tone than my the previous shade. But I'm out of excuse me, I'm out of my Estee Lauder makeup, the double wear foundation. That's what I wear 99% of the time, especially because I have oily skin, and it really helps to keep the oil at bay for pretty much the whole day. So here I'm just blending everything out using my Sonia Kusik flat foundation brush. I already did my brows off camera before I started because it takes so long, but I used Benefit brow pencil for my brows, and then I shaped them up, or lined them with the concealer from Born This Way, Too Faced Born This Way concealer in shade Butterscotch. Here I'm going to use the Huda Beauty, I forget the color name, so I'll put that on the screen or in the description just so you'll know what color shade, but I use this as the contour color for me. I love this. It's actually a foundation stick and I really love this because it's such a nice warm brown that it really kind of not only contours, but it just adds a little bit more warmth and dimension to my face. Here you see I am contouring my nose, and this part always gives me a little bit of trouble. Sometimes I end up overdoing it with the contour, so I was glad that I didn't go too crazy with this video. As you can see, I always blend it up under the front of my brow just to kind of make sure that everything is nice and contoured all the way up to under the brow, and then I just blend that out with the angled brush. I believe this might be a Sonia Kusik brush as well, but like a flat angled brush will be good. And then I take another like thicker flat angled brush. I don't remember the brand that I got for this one, but I'll try to make sure I put all the brushes in the description box for you guys. But yeah, I'll go ahead and blend under the chin area just so I can try to reduce the look of a double chin, and then of course blending up into my cheekbones, up to the hairline, and then all the way around into the hairline, just because since I have a larger forehead this helps to take away some of the forehead. And then I'm taking my foundation brush that I used earlier, and I didn't add anything to it, I just took what's left on it and just to blend out the harsh lines, just so I can make sure everything is nice and blended, especially under the chin, because it can be a little tricky where it'll look too much of a line. So the key is to make sure everything is blended as much as you possibly can. And you'll see some areas where it's not quite as blended right now, but at the end, once I finish blending everything together, you'll see it all comes together. So here I am using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Butterscotch. I also have warm brown, warm sand, which is a little bit lighter. I only use that sometimes if I really want a really super bright under eye. I'm just doing this makeup look because I'm about to go to the movies to go see the new Beyonce movie with one of my best friends. And just a side note, if you haven't seen that movie yet, I highly recommend, because it was so inspiring and just motivating. And since we're at the end of the year, if you need some motivation for next year to whatever it is that you need to change in your life, to get your life together, make changes to, be the better you, or the best you that you can be, I highly encourage you to watch that movie. But anyway, so you can see I went ahead and put the concealer in different areas of my face that I want to highlight, and this step right here has been a game changer for me. I used the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish setting spray. I put that on my concealer, and then I let it set for a couple of minutes or so, and then I blend it out with a damp beauty blender, the sponge, as you can see here. I just blend that out. Right now I'm laughing because I overhear my son. He's on the phone with his girlfriend, and it's just so cute because he's just now in high school, and this is his first like real serious girlfriend. It's the cutest thing and she's adorable. But anyway, I am, like I said, taking that beauty sponge and just blending out the concealer areas along where I want to highlight, just to make sure, you know, I'm giving myself my face the extra dimension, and making sure everything is as blended as I possibly can get it here. And I like to start with the outer areas first and then move to the under eye, just to give the under eye a little bit more time to sit, and kind of, you know, the longer it sits and kind of dries down, the better application it ends up being. And so you can see I'm blending into my eyelid because I am also going to set my eyelid. And as soon as I finish blending the concealer, I immediately go ahead and go in with my setting powder. This has been a game changer as well to help prevent creasing. This is the setting powder from Laura Mercier. Y'all, sorry I got so tongue-tied. The Laura Mercier setting powder. Whew, jeez. But yes, I'll go in and set my eyelid as well, because the concealer will crease on the eyelid if it's not set. But again, I go ahead and press it in. Don't swipe. You're not swiping it. You're pressing it in to the areas that you applied the concealer. And y'all, you see how that just looks just nice and matte without being, you know, no creasing. This right here, I swear this has been the biggest thing. And one thing I couldn't figure out for the longest was if people were using a damp sponge or a dry sponge to set their concealer. But for me, I honestly decided or tried the little triangle puff to set my concealer with the setting powder. And that works perfectly fine. I love because it has the angle. As you can see, having this big sponge makes it a little bit hard to get into the crease areas of my eye area. So I am gonna go get another angled sponge, because they have some that have like a straight edge. I'm gonna go get some of those. But again, just setting everything as soon as I finish on the under eye, just to help prevent the creasing. And then of course you want to set the other highlighted areas like I said before, and I just go ahead and take care of that. And then I go ahead and finish with the contour on my nose, or the highlight on my nose. So with the nose, I try to take it easy, just a little bit of concealer down the middle, just to kind of help, again, give that illusion of that snatched nose. And it makes it easier to blend if I don't have too much. And again, taking that triangle puff and just setting the highlighted areas. I try to set that pretty quick on my forehead too, because otherwise if I don't, then I'll have lines that'll be pretty deep in the creases on my forehead. And your girl is 42. So trying to prevent adding creasing and extra lines just helps me not look aged. The goal when I wear makeup is to look younger, not older. So now I'm taking the Lancome foundation powder. And this is actually a blush brush from Real Techniques that I'm using. But I'm really just taking that powder, the foundation powder, and just going over the areas that I didn't set, and also the areas that I did set, just to kind of make sure everything is, again, blended. That's going to be the key for everything, is just to make sure everything is blended as much as you possibly can. And I am no professional makeup artist, y'all. I'm self-taught on everything that I do when it comes to my makeup. So I'm still learning. There's still things that I know I can improve on, but I get asked so many times about my makeup and questions all the time about doing a makeup tutorial. So I wanted to go ahead and share what I do, what I know. So once I set my face pretty much all over except for the under eye area, I don't set any other color on my under eye, because that's going to darken it. I already got it bright how I want it. And you'll notice I didn't bake either. That's something I stopped doing recently too, which I've enjoyed, because the baking actually made my creases look worse under my eyes. But right now I'm taking the Charlotte Tilbury setting powder in the shade Deep, and kind of going over just the contour areas, because this color is a little darker for my skin tone. And so it just worked kind of perfectly to make sure that those those contoured areas are nice and set for my skin. And I kind of go over with whatever's left, and some of the areas like along my cheekbones and along, just to make sure it's blended on my forehead as well. Just again, because I want to make sure it's nice and blended. And then I also take that setting powder and set the contour. along the side of my nose, and into my under my eyebrow. So again, the goal is to make sure everything is just nicely blended. Along the nose is the most important part that you want to make sure is blended. So you can see I'm taking that foundation, that Lancome foundation powder, and blending along the sides as well. I probably could have used a smaller brush, but I just picked this one up because I knew it already had that powder on there. But again, try to blend it as much as possible. That's what people are going to see. And I forgot to show that I did go ahead and spray my face with the setting spray from Charlotte Tilbury again, because once you put all the powders on, you want to go ahead and make sure you set that. And I know that's another layer of setting spray, but believe me, at the end, your makeup will last forever. Probably until the next day if you sleep in it. Believe me, I've unfortunately done that too many times. But as you'll see here, I am taking that Charlotte Tilbury setting powder in the shade Deep, and I am using that as my eyeshadow. This is a natural kind of glam look that we're going for. And so because that shade is already what I've used for setting my face in the contour areas, it's just a perfect kind of color to cover, to use on my eyelid, because it's again going for that natural look. And here I'm using a flat brush that I got in a set from Amazon. I'll link that below. This was a really good set of brushes that I got for like, I think $10. And I'm going in with a shimmery shade from, I think this is the Kylie Jenner palette, the holiday palette from last year. I've loved and just been using the heck out of this particular color as a highlight in the inner corner of my eyes. And just so my eyes don't look completely dull with just having that one color on, it's gonna kind of awaken my eyes, kind of give you a little twinkle almost, so to speak, in your eyes when you have that. Now I did go a little bit too heavy on this side and go over too far. So as you can see, I am lining just a little bit along the bottom lash, but I had to go back over here just to add a little bit more to match this side. But I did go ahead and take a little bit more of that setting powder or shadow and blend it out so they'll be equal on both sides. So here is how the eyes end up. This is so easy. That's why I wanted to show you guys, because I've been loving this look and it's just a super easy look to try. So this is my favorite eyeliner that I have used for many years. I've tried others, even high-end liners. And the thing I love about this liner is that it stays wet. The brush is very easy to manipulate, to use to blend, and I'm going for more of a thinner kind of line with this look because again, going for natural glam, trying not to do too much. So I'm just lining along the line of my lid, and I always do like a winged liner one because I like more of a cat eye look for my eyes. But also for two, I always do a liner, especially a black liner, because it helps to cover up any imperfections when I do my eyelashes. So I'm going with the M213 or 213 brush from Morphe, and I'm going with the darker color from that holiday palette from Kylie Jenner, and I think it's called Elf Made. And I'm taking that brush just to kind of smoke out the lower lash a little bit. I chose this color because it's still in that warm dark brown family, and I wanted something that was darker than the shade on my lid because that shade wouldn't probably show up as well under my eye to create that smoky kind of eye look under the eye. So I just smoked that out. I probably could use a different brush. I'm still trying to play around with different brushes for this particular part of the process. But this right here is something I've been doing recently because it's kind of my replacement. I need to go get another gel liner. But in the meantime, I'm using this flat brush that was in that set that I got from Amazon and going in with that black shadow. And I've been using that as a liner and it's been doing really good. I will say this is my favorite mascara, the Lancome black mascara, Teint Idole, I think is the name of it, mascara. I usually will go in with that because even though I'm going to put on strip lashes, I've gotten shadow on my lashes, so I need to get that off. And so I go in with that black mascara before I put the eyelashes on. And these eyelashes I did get on Amazon. They come in a pack of like 8 or 10 or maybe 9. I don't remember. They come in a pack. And I want to say they're maybe $10 or less than 15. Don't quote me, it's on my Amazon storefront, but I also put the link in the description box for you guys because these lashes I love. I've actually enjoyed them a lot, but recently I feel like the last batch that I got, they kind of had a little curve to them that I really didn't like as much. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to relook at some different ones, but these are the lashes that I wear, again, probably 99% of the time, because they're a nice fluffy lash and they just kind of give you that extra, you know, oomph to your eyes without being too dramatic and long, I think, because I don't really, sometimes I go for the long, but not too often. It depends on the look that I'm going with. And then this is the blush that I use typically from Juvia's Place in that orange shade. I'll make sure that's linked below. And I'm taking an angled brush. You can go with a fluffier brush if you're a beginner and you're, you know, wanting to make sure you don't go in too heavy. This brush I like because it kind of helps to pick up just enough product and helps me to really target the area of my cheekbone that I want to highlight with the blush, because I'm not trying to create like a big circle. You want to blend that brush up to the, you know, high up on your cheekbone. And then I just tried this and I really like how it looked. I went in with that lighter shade just above the blush where I applied it to kind of blend into the highlight and blend under the eye and, you know, kind of diffuse that line so there's not that line of demarcation, because as much as I'm trying to blend it out, you know, I want to make sure it's blended even more with the blush. And I really like I really like how this looked with adding that lighter color to the cheekbone just above it. You guys have to let me know what you think, because I really love how that look turned out for that part. Now this is a new thing that I've been doing, which is basically putting some powder on my lips. Yes, I know I look like Chris Rock from New Jack City right now, but trust the process, okay? This is helping me to have the liner stay in place for so much longer. And it helps if you have trouble with when you blend your liner into your lipstick and lip gloss and everything, and it seems like you lose the lip liner. This will help you avoid that. So what I do is I'm taking the Juvia's Place lip liner, and I think this is color Cola. And I am lining my lips, but then I'm blending it out just a little bit just to diffuse it, so it's not just one line around my lips. It's, you know, diffused and blended. And then I'm going in with the Juvia's Place lipstick, the matte lipstick in the color In Vogue. And I love this color because it's kind of like a peachy kind of color. And it goes, you know, with the cheekbones and all that. And then I'm going on top of that with the Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Sweet Mouth. And see how I'm not losing the liner, and so that is because of the powder that I put on. You can put the powder on after you do the liner. It'll help the liner go on a little bit more easily and be more easy to spread. But yeah, and then of course I'm gonna set my whole face with the Charlotte Tilbury. And here's the final look. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and leave me a comment and let me know what you think and what else you'd like to see.